The bubble is probably the one stage of a tournament where, you know, it sort of separates those that really just want to win this thing and those that are just so excited about cashing, you know. And when you're at a table with some guys that, you know, appear to be so excited. I mean, I can tell you a story. When I played in New Orleans ages ago, there was a guy who was an Omaha 8 or better tournament and paid 27 or something, and there was 28 left, and he was he was in the big blind, and he had 4,000 in chips. So he put the 2,000 in the big blind, and it was just right on the bubble, and there was a couple guys that were shorter. He left. He didn't even want to see it. Okay, so he anteed up his 2,000. He threw away his 1,000. He didn't even come back. He didn't want to see no cards just in case, you know, he found ace, ace, deuce, 3 double suited and might, you know, go out on the bubble. So I'm thinking to myself, wow, okay, this guy's made his motivation pretty clear. He was lucky enough to make the money, but this is not a guy that's going to succeed in tournament poker in the long run with this kind of strategy. The money's all at the top. You got to get into the top 3 spots to really make any money. So you have to have sort of an aggressive strategy. However, sometimes when you're short stacked, you don't really have that option. Having said that, you still have 1 bullet left, and when you do play it, you got to play it aggressive. I would say that I'll tell you what, at that spot, if you're short stacked and you do move all in, people generally give you a little bit more credit than they normally would for a hand because they think, wow, he wouldn't move all in here unless he had a really good hand. So, you know, if you're able to cultivate that kind of image, you can actually get away with getting yourself back into the tournament by being aggressive. I would suggest doing that from later positions as well. I mean, if you pick up an ace-8, you know, next to the button, and you stick it all in, you know, if any of the other guys in the blinds are waiting to move up, or, you know, just feel like, oh, you know what, you probably got a hand here, so I'm just going to throw away my 2 7s or my 2 8s. That's probably not a bad play. If you're big stack, you should go ahead and absolutely just abuse them with a small ball strategy, okay? You don't want to necessarily call the all-ins on the bubble, again, because of the same reason I just explained. Generally speaking, these guys who go all-in short, they have a decent hand. So if you're big stack, don't feel obligated to, like, knock the guy out. I don't care if everyone crowds around your table and is like, dude, you're the big stack, you got to knock him out. I was like, hey, they're my chips, okay? I got no interest in this. I'm not worried about the bubble. I'm worried about my own chips. So just because a guy goes all in and you have like king 3 suited in the big blind, don't just call for the sake of knocking the player out. In fact, Jack Strauss, this is an interesting story. He talks about when he won the World Series of Poker, there was 13 players left. Oh, I'm sorry, there was 10 left, and they went to 9 at the final table. And he went from the short stack at the table and just started playing really aggressively. Boom, 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 boom. All of a sudden, he became the chip leader, okay? Now, a player goes all in. He calls with pocket kings, and he busts the player, all right? Now, he goes on to win this tournament. But you know what he said? He actually said he felt like he only made 1 mistake in the tournament. You know what that mistake was? He felt like because they were playing so tight to get to the final table that he should have folded the pocket kings even though he knew it was the best hand because he felt like he would have been able to make even more money by stealing. Now, this is a really extreme example, and poker was a lot different back then, but you get the sort of the ideology of what he was thinking. Basically, he's like, this is a great situation for me. Why do you want, the last thing you want to do is ever double up a guy in a marginal situation or even, you know, whatever, try to bust him in a marginal situation. Just, you play your game, you keep playing small pots, and don't feel like it's your job to be the sheriff and look people up and risk your stack. You know what? Everyone else wants you to do it. Just because of that doesn't mean you have to. I mean, they told you to jump off a bridge, you're going to do that. Come on.